Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you don't know me, my name's Joelle and I resell part-time on a lot of platforms, but primarily Poshmark, eBay, and Mercari. And today we're going to talk about how to improve your listings, specifically with your descriptions. If you sell on Poshmark, you know that this 2022 update has affected a lot of our closets and a lot of our sales. People have been experimenting with doing shorter titles and longer descriptions. That is something that I have been doing recently and I have seen some success with it. So I want to talk about how to optimize your descriptions to get more traction and thus more sales to your closet. I did have someone reach out and ask if I could make a video on this, and so I really hope that this can be helpful for you all to get more sales in your closet. And while I will be talking about Poshmark sales and descriptions, this can also apply to eBay, Mercari, really any other online platform, because that search engine optimization is so important. And that comes from not only having a good title, but also having a great description that is heavy in keywords. So let's just get right into talking about how we can improve our descriptions. First up, I'm going to show you all two of my recent sold listings. And with these listings, I did experiment with having a shorter title and longer descriptions. So first up, we're going to go over these Cole Haan wedges that I sold. And that is exactly what my title was, just Cole Haan wedges. I actually had these listed originally with a more SEO heavy title that I would typically use before this Poshmark update and that I would use on a platform like eBay or Mercari. But these shoes were not getting a lot of attention within the first couple weeks of listing on Poshmark, so I decided to use this as an experiment and shorten that title to Cole Haan wedges. Now, instead of just deleting that original title, I decided to copy and paste it into the description because there still were some important keywords in there. So some important keywords, I will include a screenshot so you guys can see the whole thing, but I did include gray leather. I included round toe along with the size of the shoe. Another reason why I did copy and paste that title into the description is because if Poshmark were to go back to whatever the app was before all of these updates, I still want to have those SEO heavy titles available so I can just flip-flop them. And I will be talking about what you should put into your descriptions, certain keywords or style names, but I will show you all one more sale. And if you are selling this brand secondhand, I would highly recommend experimenting with shorter titles to gain more traction to your closet. So I sold this Shein star pattern sweater and my title was simply Shein sweater. Now, this was an item that I did not buy to resell on Poshmark. I actually bought it to sell on my Instagram because it went with the theme drop I was doing. On Instagram, there are no fees associated, and so I was okay with getting a couple dollars profit. But since it didn't sell on there, I decided, since I already had pictures taken, that I would just list it on Poshmark and other platforms. Now, Shein is obviously one of the biggest fast fashion empires we have ever seen. They produce so much fashion so quick and in a very inhumane way. And so as a result, I think that Shein is so much more popular to shop secondhand at places like Plato's Closet or online if you could find it cheap enough. So if you could find it at a low enough cost of goods, or you have stuff in your personal closet, I think go ahead and list that Shein as long as you're okay with making just a couple bucks rather than a higher profit. But I say that you should definitely use short titles for brands like Shein or even Forever 21, Hollister, really any other mall brand or lower retail brand, is because these brands do not have specific style names when it comes to the fashion that they're producing. And so people aren't going to be looking for specific stuff when they shop for this brand. Shein produces hundreds of thousands of sweaters every single year. They have a ton of different styles. They probably have a ton of different star pattern sweaters. And so people don't know exactly what to look for. They're simply shopping Shein because of the brand. So it really serves no purpose to put a long SEO heavy title into my listing. With this new Poshmark update, it seems like you are going to get a lot more traction to your closet if you put a shorter title like Shein sweater. And so I listed this and it sold within a couple of days of listing. And like those Cole Haan wedges, I did put an SEO heavy title in the description. So it still did have a lot of keywords like star pattern, multicolored, whatever the material was, it had the size, and any other relevant keywords to this listing. But again, that title was short. So this leads me into my next part of the video, which is what should I put in my descriptions? So these online platforms give you a ton of characters to use in your description, and you have got to use that to your advantage. First up, like I said earlier, you should put an SEO heavy title in that description, especially in the event that Poshmark goes back to that original algorithm before all of these updates. The next important thing to put in your description, if applicable, is the style name. Now, as I said earlier, brands like Forever 21 or Shein mostly just those lower retail brands, they often don't have specific style names for their listings. But some prime examples for some great selling brands on Poshmark that do have style names, and I think that they play an important part in why these items sell, are brands like Free People, Madewell, J. Crew, and so many other brands. These style names tend to be pretty popular and are oftentimes searched on Google and on these online platforms. I think this is especially important for higher end items too. If you are selling a more expensive brand, to use an example from my closet, I am selling this Tory Burch sweater. I could just put the listing as Tory Burch sweater, but instead I am going to put the style name, which is Lansing, so it will be Tory Burch Lansing sweater. If this were set in American Eagle sweater, I would just make the title American Eagle sweater, but because it is a higher end brand, I think that when people are searching for items, they're looking way more specifically when it comes to more expensive brands like Tory Burch, and so it is important to put style name in these types of listings. Another important thing to include in your description is features. So I've been looking through my listings and my descriptions, and I noticed that the two most used features that I am putting are adjustable straps and hidden pockets, but really just pockets in general when it comes to dresses and skirts. Those just seem like important things that people are looking for. I will always put hidden pockets into my listings when it comes to leggings or any other workout wear. That is always something that people are looking for if they're going out for a run or going to the gym and they need somewhere to put their keys or any other thing that they need to put in a small pocket. While features are important, another great thing to put in your description is fashion aesthetic, if that is applicable to your listing. So when I think about current fashion trends and styles that come to mind, the first things that I think about are cottagecore and academia. If you're unfamiliar with those styles, I will include some screenshots of different looks from cottagecore and academia, but those are two huge 2022 fashion trends. Now, if I do have an item that is applicable to a certain fashion style, I will usually put that fashion style at the bottom in the tags section. Poshmark has an official tags feature and you could put up to 3 tags. I do utilize those, especially if I have a vintage piece or if it is a great material like silk or cotton. But if I do have a certain listing that has a lot of relevant tags that just don't quite fit into Poshmark's criteria, I will put my own makeshift tag section at the bottom of my own listing in the description. Now, there are a lot of users on Poshmark who will just flood their listing with tags. It could be a brand new with tags Shein swimsuit and they will put a tag like vintage in the listing. And that is not good because that's very similar to clickbait, because putting irrelevant tags in your listing will mess up the search algorithm, and buyers who are looking for a certain piece don't want to see irrelevant listings in that search bar. Now, while it's great that Poshmark allows a lot of characters to create longer descriptions, it can be very time consuming. So the final part of this video, I'm going to talk about how to shorten up that time when you are listing. This is something that I have been pushing myself to do for the past few months on Poshmark. I have created a couple of templates that are great starting points for all of my new listings. So just a basic template that I have for almost all of my listings, I will have the brand, size, and condition. Below that, I will have features of the item. Next will be materials, and finally at the bottom will be tags. And before I use that template, I will also put just a short paragraph, usually no more than 3 sentences, just generally describing or talking about the item so the buyers can know what they can get with this listing. And I don't know about you all, but when I am online shopping, I never read those giant paragraphs that listings often include. This is something that a lot of large retailers do when they include the item description. I would rather see more of a broken down description where you could see the brand and other important features of the item displayed in a list form. And a little pro tip from the Thrifters Villa podcast, I would highly recommend listening to it if you're a podcast person. Daniela, one of the hosts, talked about how doing your listings in more of a list form is much better for the Google search engine optimization when compared to putting your listings in paragraph form. So not only does having a pre-made template save you so much time when listing, it can also get your listing higher up in that Google search algorithm. If you made it this far in the video, I appreciate you so much, and I hope you got something out of this video. With this Poshmark update, I think that experimenting with shorter titles can be a great thing. It's definitely time consuming, so if you want to hear more updates from me instead of doing it yourself, I totally understand, because it can be time consuming to go through all of your listings, right now I am just trying to use newer listings to experiment with rather than going through my older stuff. And I have definitely seen more traction to my closet. I don't know, and I can never confirm if that's because of shorter titles, but I think there's some type of correlation there, and I've also focused on putting even more keywords now into my descriptions. So thank you all so much for watching. As always, I appreciate the channel support. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button if you want to see more reseller content like this. My next video is going to be a ThredUp unboxing of the 25-pound men's rescue box. It's my first one I've ever ordered, so I'm really excited about it, and I hope that you all are looking forward to it. But now that we are at the end of the video, thank you all again so much for watching, and I will see you all for the next video.